I've been telling you for the past week, big story been dominating the Caribbean news, and Cliffside Entertainment, been reported that they're in the process of filing a lawsuit against reggae artist Richie Spice. And on the phone line with me, I have Sheron Rose. Sheron, are you there?
Yes, I am.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
So, this story's been dominating the Caribbean news for the past week or so, and you guys are Cliffside Entertainment, right? That's the name of your company?
Correct. We're actually an artist management company.
Okay, artist management company. So this is not this was not your first time putting on like a reggae event, was it?
No, we actually put on a show 6 months ago in Jamaica, and we had a couple of artists on that show there, including Bunty Killer, Josie Whale, and some others. Mm-hmm.
Now, tell us what's supposed to happen between you guys and the Richie Spice management company. You guys, my understanding so far, what I've read so far, is that you guys actually book Richie Spice to perform at in Connecticut. Is that correct?
Correct. We actually booked him back in April, and we purchased the ticket for him to actually come here to perform on July 2nd. Mm-hmm. The tickets were actually paid for by Cliffside Entertainment for him to arrive in the country on the 30th of June. We wanted them to come in advance to do some extra promotion. However, what they did was they changed the date on my ticket to an earlier date of June 25th. And basically what they said was the reason for the change when I contacted them, that VP Records wanted them to promote an album that he was releasing, and they wanted to do an album party on June 27th. Mm-hmm. Being that I also manage artists as well, I okayed the album release on June 27th, and VP Records, they did compensate for that album release. However, they never purchased the ticket. I purchased the ticket.
Mm-hmm. So no, you're saying you gave them permission to go ahead and to give Richie Spice management come to go ahead and do that show.
Right, and to do that album release, because basically it was just a promo show for him to release his album. That was taking place on June 27th at the SOBs in New York. But later on, I started searching online, and I started finding all these shows that he actually booked before my show. He did a show in Philadelphia on June 25th, was actually the date that he changed my ticket to. I found another show the day after in New York. I found one in Virginia. And then the Friday, they were actually late. They were supposed to be in Connecticut since Thursday. And Friday when they called me, they said they were in Cape Cod, Massachusetts. And when I inquired what they were doing in Cape Cod, Massachusetts, they basically told me that they took a show up there. So instead of showing up on June 30th, they actually were 2 days late, and at this point, they were doing a show in Massachusetts at my expense.
So what day exactly was your show was when? What's the date on your show?
My show was on the 2nd, but I wanted them to come a day or two in advance to help and promote the show, to do some radio promos, to get, just to let get the people involved to know that they were in town, to sell some ticket sales, to do some autograph signing and so forth. None of that never took place because they basically didn't follow my itinerary, just blow the whole thing off. But so basically at this point, I wanted my ticket money back, because after I found out that they did all these shows, we were not really responsible for buying your ticket at this point. Mm-hmm. To us, they were like a pass-through act.
Now, so my question is all this was stated in the contract? Did you guys sign a contract with Richie Spice Management Company?
Yes, a contract was signed. A contract was signed, and we had an email stating that they were supposed to actually show up on June 30th.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so all right, I'm trying to understand. So pretty much you guys give them permission to do the VP show, and that was the only thing that you guys...
The VP show, exactly, and that was the only thing, and that was supposed to take place in June 27th.
June 27th, so that's like 3 days before they should have been in, your neck of the woods. Let's put it as that.
Right, but you also must understand the permission was given to do the VP show after they changed the ticket without their permission. That's number one. It was only after I inquired why they were changing the ticket, they said, they changed it because they wanted to do a promo for his album. Now, keep in mind, I manage artists, so therefore, at that point, I was kind of sympathetic, saying, okay, you can go ahead and do your album release. You're promoting the album. As a promoter, I would not hold that against you. So therefore, that was the only thing that we gave them permission to after finding out that they actually went behind our back and changed the ticket.
All right. So no, you found out that they changed the tickets. You contact them. What was the response that you got from the management crew, from Richie Spice management crew?
Right. That was the response that I got from them. That the reason why they changed it was because they actually wanted to do this promo for his new release with VP on the 27th.
Right. Right. So that's
okay.
So that's for the VP show now. So let's move up to your actual date that they were supposed to schedule to perform at your show. What was the conversation that you guys had with the management company?
Actually, the only person that I talked to from Richie Spice Management Company was his manager, Sophia Campbell. I actually never spoke to anyone at VP Records. Mm-hmm. He was the only person that we actually spoke to. And when I spoke to her, this is what she basically stated to us. We actually never talked to anyone at VP Records. And then, in addition to that, instead of showing up on June 30th, they showed up on the 2nd, which was the day of the show. And everything that was planned for that day was never done because basically they were so tired from taking all these shows at our expense, they went to sleep. So it's like they blew us off an entire day as opposed to going around promoting the show. They actually went to bed.
Wow. And so what happened? They didn't show up at the show at all?
They showed up in Connecticut on July 2nd. Instead of hitting the ground running, the itinerary that I had for the day, they checked in the hotel, which I actually had reserved for them for the show, and they all went to bed. In addition to that, I had actually, in my contract, it said 3 people. They brought 7 people with them that we paid for. And that was not in our contract.
No, so...
They skipped the interview for that day. They skipped the autograph signing. They never showed up to sound check. And they basically, at the end, everyone knows that they never did the show. And they never did the show because they were looking for the 50% balance before he went on stage. But I wanted my ticket back for actually bringing them in the country and having them do other people's shows. And then they went off and did other people's shows.
Now, let me ask you, now, the 50%, was that, should that have been paid before they perform? Or
right, we had given them 50% before they came in the country. The deal was they got the other 50% before they performed. But the argument came about when I actually wanted, because the tickets were more than the 50% balance that was owed to them. So basically, at this point, I wanted my 50%. I wanted my money back for the tickets, and the reason being that I wasn't responsible for bringing them in the country if you're going to take 5, 6 shows before mine. I think the first promoter that brought you in the country was responsible for buying your ticket. If you're going to take, because the first show that they did when they came in the country was not VP Records. It was for a promoter in Philadelphia. So what happened to that promoter? Anyone could ask. Did they take that money from that promoter and put it in their pocket? Or they just ride in Cliffside Entertainment ways and let us buy a ticket for them to do other people's shows?
If you guys are just tuning in, I'm talking with Sheron Rose from Cliffside Entertainment. Of course, you know the big story that's been going on this week involving Richie Spice. Now, Sheron, what are you going to be filing a lawsuit against Richie Spice Management Company?
Yes, we are. If they're not willing to compromise and refund the 50%, the airline tickets, the hotel fees, and so forth, then we will move forward to sue them.
Well, I wanted to bring you on the air to give your side of the story, and we also invited Richie Spice's management company as well to come on here and talk and give their side of the story, because there's always 2 sides to a story. And yeah, go ahead.
Well, all I want to say to the people, if you can Google Richie Spice online, then you can see that Cliffside Entertainment is not lying. You'll see all the shows that they did prior to July 2nd, and we were the one that bought your ticket. The internet does not lie. So if you Google, anyone out there can Google to see how many shows they did before ours. As a promoter, if you're booking an artist and you're buying your ticket, by right, they should do your show first. They can't show up and do your show last. The first show that they do, those promoters are responsible for buying your ticket. Because to us, they're like a pass-through act at that point. If you were already in New York, why do I need to buy your ticket from Jamaica?
No, and was that stated in the contract as well, that they're solely going to be performing for you at that that week? Or I'm trying to figure out, or get an idea exactly. They're only supposed to be performing.
It was not in the contract that they were going to solely perform for me. But if you book any artist from Jamaica, they know that if someone is buying your ticket, they do your show first. You don't do 6 shows before the person that bought your ticket. You always do that promoter's show first. Why would I buy you if I know that Richie Spice was going to be in town in June 26th? I would not need to spend almost $4,000 to buy their tickets. Would you? I don't think anyone would do that. So if you were going to be here a week before, why would I need to spend all that money to buy your ticket from Jamaica?
Right.
I would have just booked you from New York because you're already in the country.
Right.
So therefore, Cliffside Entertainment is fighting this because when we look at all the shows that he did at our expense, we were not responsible for buying his ticket because he was already in the country doing shows after shows after shows.
So, pretty much...
And in addition to that, he never showed up when the original ticket was booked for June 30th. He showed up in Connecticut on June 2nd.
Right.
So that he didn't even show up for June 30th. And in addition to that, the itinerary that I had for that day, they skipped it.
All right, well, you know...
So I would like to hear, and I hope that you get the feedback from promoters out there, because I don't see any promoter that would put up with that. You're booking an artist to come here, they're changing the date in your ticket, they're taking other shows at your expense, they're not following your itinerary. I don't see any promoter that would actually put up with that, and I would really like to hear from a promoter out there that would actually say otherwise.
Right. All right, well, you know, guys, we're broadcasting live in Atlanta, and all the promoters out there, if you want to give us a call here in the studio at 678-771-8922. Sheron Rose from Cliffside Entertainment. Well, you know, Sheron, we just wanted to bring you on and get your side of the story, and, you know, I really do wish you all the best with this in terms of with Richie Spice. And, you know, once again, we're inviting Richie Spice side to come on and tell their side of the story as well on Cultural Vibes Radio. So, Sheron, I want to thank you for coming on this afternoon.
Sure, no problem. Thank you.
All right. All right, it's Cultural Vibes Radio, and that was, you know, Sheron Rose from Cliffside Entertainment, and, you know, it's a story that was dominating the entertainment, Caribbean entertainment this past week. They're in the process of possibly filing a lawsuit against Richie Spice's management company for not, you know, living up to their obligation. But once again, we are inviting Richie Spice's management crew to come on and, you know, explain your side as well right here on Cultural Vibes Radio. Here's truly DJ Terry, gonna keep it rolling right here on the Vibes. Keep it locked.
Girl, I wanna be your lover, man.